Alright, for this video, I think what we're going to do is go over the Balance Council changes. They just came out today, so we have a new season here for October, and I'm just going to go through these changes sort of one by one and talk about them. So first up, we have Toussaint Hospitality. Um, I This has gained an extra provision, so instead of a nerf, we have a leader buff here, and I think it's actually good. You know, I would agree that most leader buffs probably aren't that good. It's not like the best thing in general to do, but I think for this leader, it's kind of warranted. Enemy boost really isn't the strongest archetype. When you compare it to a leader like Imperial Formation, Tactical Decision, maybe Double Cross is kind of similar, but like especially to these two, I think they both seemed like just far superior in a lot of respects. So I think it's good. I think it's a good buff. Offsets the change to Ivar getting nerfed, and I think overall the archetype is a little bit better. It's good. Tainted Ale. Okay, let's take a look. So Tainted Ale is now 15 provision card up here with Melitele, Crom, and Eternal Eclipse scenario and Renfrey. This is a toxic card. It enables the pirate armor use deck, and I mean, it's been nerfed like a lot of times. I guess we just nerf it to like 30 provisions, you know. This will be the new like sink a nerf slot into this card, and it's fine with me, honestly. I really don't mind it. So sure, good spot, good nerf. Torres goes to 15. You know, I didn't really see too much assimilate. I do get that this card is a little bit overtuned, but I mean, assimilate's taken a lot of nerfs recently. I mean, you've had multiple nerfs to Skellen. You've had nerf to Lydia, right? Which is a key assimilate card. I don't really know that it was necessary, but at the same time, you know, strong cards have to be nerfed, or they're gonna get nerfed, and that's sort of where this is. It's like, I don't really think it was a pressing issue that this get nerfed, but at the same time, it was a very strong card, so it can potentially take it. Maybe you'll try to trigger Artaud something else, but we'll see if this creates some diversity in Assimilate's list. It could be a positive in that way, because Assimilate's list was pretty set in stone when you run Torres. Like, all the choices for it were pretty much set, other than the one season that people were playing Angleam in it. Maybe you cut this and run Angleam and maybe some other things too to add spined cards. It could be interesting, you know. The more I think about it, the more maybe I do like this nerf. It might encourage some deck diversity, some experimentation in Assimilate. We'll see how good that is. I doubt that it would be as good, but who knows? You know, sometimes you need to shake up the decks. The next nerf is gonna be Siege, which I think is good. I think NR is just a little too strong. Like, since the power creep of engines has happened, NR is the one faction that really just has multiple ways of creating engine overload threats, and Siege is just another way that it can do that, where it just creates multiple engines at once. It also is creating engines that remove points from the opponent's board, as opposed to just like going tall. They're interactive point engines, which makes it even stronger. And I think that's something to really keep in mind when you compare it to some other scenarios. You know, you compare it to something like Harmony scenario, which has an incredibly high point ceiling, but all the points go onto your board. They're not removing your engines, removing your threats with their engines once they get set up. So For that reason, I think you have to have siege in the upper echelon of scenarios, maybe aside from game-breaking scenarios, but just in the fact that it's not only engines but removal engines, so I think it's a good nerf. Ivar gets nerfed up to 11. Okay, let's take a look at him. Ivar up to 11. Okay, I mean, it makes him less mid-rangey. I think that's kind of good. It's probably less likely you see this in a deck that doesn't set up for it once he's at 11. Like, this season, you could definitely have just played him at 10 provision, but that'll disincentivize people to do that, which I think is good. So I think that's a good nerf again too. We're doing well for sure. This patch looks good so far. Really, no complaints really at all. We are looking for Sticky Situation, which got nerfed up to 9. I mean, this card is ridiculous ceiling. It enables like tempo passes in round 1 that can force your opponent to just have to pass. It can enable wins on even without much commitment at all. I mean, just generating 4 points a turn is worth so much. And it's uninteractive, like you can't lock it. You basically have to have artifact removal or you're going to lose the round. I like nerfing it. Trap's a strong deck too. I think it can definitely take it. It's going to be a major downside, at least the list I'm running. The 1 provision is going to result, like if you are running a full traps build, I think the one provision is going to be hit that deck pretty hard. So maybe it's warranted. I think on this card, if you do want to buff traps or like create some options, it's now open to maybe buffs for next season or something to try and fix this. Because let me just pull up traps. Right. So where does the provision get cut in this deck, right? You're not going to cut any of these traps. None of these cards are cuttable. They're all too strong. Aileron. That you don't want to cut it for 6. Like you end up having to cut one of the crushing traps is honestly what I was settling in on, and you cut a crushing trap down to like a backup plan or something. Still playable, but effective nerf. I like it. Seagull. Now it's 7. Seagull, which has gone up to 2 power. Now it's 7 provisions. Up here with like Reavers and Whisperer. In the realm of growing 7 provision bronzes. I really didn't think it was necessary, to be honest. But I wouldn't put it in the category of like giving this nerf a thumbs down because I think it's fine. I mean, I like really sure like the Warriors deck was overtuned with it. It was specifically good in Patricidal Fury Warriors. It wasn't even that good in Pirates. Like Pirates is just still like too weak that it wasn't really carrying the deck. So I mean, I don't know. Does it still get played somewhere? I don't know. I could see it being kind of irrelevant this season. 13 for 7 ceiling, but a very low floor on it. Yeah, I don't know. I doubt there's much Seagulls with it at 7. That's what I'll say. So I'm not sure that it's the best nerf. I would say so far it's the worst nerf out of all of the other provision changes. But I get sort of why it happened because people wanted to avoid it going back to 1 power. And so it's justified even though it's not really great. Okay, Open Sesame goes to 6. Now, this is what I was a little bit concerned about. I was a little concerned about this earlier, right? Is that if we're gonna nerf this, you have to nerf pulling the strings at the same time. You need to have a bunch of dedicated buffs to syndicate decks. You almost have to base a whole balance council around syndicate in order to fix this situation. Or else it just causes too much chaos. Random reverts happens. You can't predict what's gonna happen for the next balance council, so this will probably get reverted next balance council, maybe something, and this is gonna continue on. Um, but I think what will have to happen is that a major coalition is gonna have to really just decide to make their entire balance council around fixing whatever situation you end up going with. Um, and actually, we're gonna skip right down to a power decrease, just because it's in the same vein with Shady Vendor. So Shady Vendor is now back down to 4 power. I think the 5 power was way too strong for on it. Um, and honestly, I don't mind that it happened in this console, but what we need to do now is um, decide: are we going to keep pulling the strings and Sesame at 5 and nerf Vendor? Maybe like even nerf him again to really just like disincentivize running a ton of copies of it. Even if it just forces those decks to run 2 copies of it at 5 provisions, where it's just like this really good card, but there's not so many of them that you have this major payoff at the end of the game where you can just, if you have last say, you basically always win by having 3 of these in the grave with an auction for a card. So again, I think this is a 6 provision card in a perfect world, but since Acherontia, a lot of the other Vice cards around it have paid for the sins of this card, it makes the situation a lot more complicated, and it remains to be seen how it's going to get into a state that isn't in flux, So we'll see what happens with it, but I mean, obviously, pulling the strings is going to be really strong. It doesn't have 5 power vendors with it this season, but it's still going to be a strong deck. Still going to be really strong with it guaranteed off of it. Highland Warlord. Highland Warlord gets nerfed. This card has a ridiculous amount of carryover to it. So I think it's somewhere between a 5 and 6 provision card. It's probably like a 6 provision card and still good at 6. I like it at 6 better. I would like to see some way to force warriors not to run Fukusia, but I don't think we'll ever live in that world. Because Fukusia really, it's not a warrior, I don't know. It's so much better than Herald in round 2 that, like, to defend your bleed with Fukusia into Warlord is just, it's so strong, especially with Warlord at 5. Like, when you have Warlord at 5 with Fukusia, you can fit her way easier because you have 2 extra provisions in your deck. And she summons 5 turns of rain, so she's playing like potentially 14 points on herself, plus bringing back the Warlord at 5 power for 19 points, plus all the carryover on each of your raids is just wild. I mean, we could nerf this card, honestly, at some point. She's just too good in Warriors. It's another problem. It's like, Warriors seems to break whenever it can add a mid-range card like this 2 power Seagull and Fukusia. Like, these things make the deck overtuned, whereas like if you didn't have access to this in Warriors and you had to run Herald, which is super bad in round 2, it'd be a bit more acceptable, I think. But I don't hate it at all. The only problem is I just think it gets reverted, so I really don't know what to do with it from here. Like, do you risk power buffing this card and making it have too much tempo, uh, but less binary on blue coin? Like, you don't just automatically lose every time on even on blue coin. But what else do we have here? The last provision buff is Haymay Protector. So this is again another trying to address the provisions of the armor exploit deck. Maybe making this a 5 provision and buffing it. I like the idea of this for a couple reasons. It takes provisions from the armor exploit deck, but I think him being a warrior, it makes him a little bit of a it's a slight buff to barrel buff. I kind of like that. I think it's good. I'm fine with it. I'm a little indifferent on it because I don't think the card's that good. I don't really see it getting play, even if it does get power buff to 5. I think it would have to go to like 6 or 6 at least. 6 for 5 before it got sub play. Okay. Let's keep going on more nerfs. Herquax. Quacks gets nerfed. There's not too much to talk about here. This card is going to go all the way down to 1. It might even keep getting provision nerfs. It's a pretty toxic card to summon your opponent's highest provision cost unit from their deck. It's a nerf to Vi. I mean, you play this in Vi into Simless, you know, and it just feels really sad to play against. So it's just a kind of a toxic RNG interaction that can like determine the game in a way that isn't excuse me. It can determine the game in a way that isn't based on skill. So we don't really like those cards and they get nerfed. That's acceptable to me. Okay. Living armor. Yeah, living armor is finally at 1 power. Wow. I guess this is a buff to marching orders, you know? You could play marching orders into this card. It's kind of cool. I wonder if there's any other synergies with it being green. Like it being boosted by a certain amount. Can you get a synergy off of it? I don't know. Maybe somebody will cook something up with it. We'll see. But I think it's fine. I mean, again, it's not really doing much. It avoids a different nerf. And I think that's pretty good at the state we're in right now to avoid at least a few nerfs each council, just because there's nothing that's like above and beyond needing to be addressed immediately in the game at all. So it's pretty much fine to do that. Riptide. Yeah, I mean, this is a ping pong we see all the time. There's not much to talk about. Card's too good at 10. I wish that it could just stay here at 9 for 9. I think that would be the healthiest state for it, but we'll see it back at 10 next about as inevitable as one of the next ones that we're in. Next one is Iris. This is another placeholder nerf, right? Because you discard her, so it's fine. It's fine with me, honestly. Sandor. People don't like this card. I don't think it needed nerfed at all. I don't think it was strong. Does the drone off of it really matter? Like, I don't know. The card just it's a little strange to me. I don't think this card needed a nerf at all. I don't really know of any decks that played it that were good. Is there like a top deck playing Sandor that wins a lot, or I just don't know of a deck that wins a lot that plays this. I guess people just hate Clog. So they want to nerf this. I mean, it sets up abductions, but it's slow tempo. It's a 6, plays 6 for 9. Even before this nerf. It maybe at best got 1 point a turn. Yeah, I don't get it. It's probably the worst nerf I've seen so far out of all of the provision decrease and power decrease so far. That is the only one that was bad, honestly, I think. Flaminic. And it's not even that bad. Like, I don't really care that much about it. Corrupted Flaminica. I mean, this card's 8 provisions. It still plays for 20 plus points twice. So, this is fine. Slows the tempo a little bit. I mean, it's the same difference. It's going to get heat waved if it can. And then if you're playing that deck and it gets heat waved, you're going to lose anyway. So, it doesn't affect that difference. It just makes it less bad if your opponent doesn't have tall punish. Albrich. I mean, I like Albrich. At least I played it a lot for a while there. It makes the round 3 of Hyperthin less, but I guess it matters for the Alzer version. My original GN version, I don't think it would really matter. I think I guess it does, right? It's a huge nerf, kinda. It's kind of a huge nerf. I think I don't really like this either. But I see why people don't like it, because the Albrich version, or the Alzer version, has an insane tempo dump in round 1 that is a little bit annoying to play against. Like, if you just can't keep up with it, and then it dictates the round length on you, and it still a really strong round 3. So, I mean, I just don't know, because that deck is ever that popular. It just is very easy to tech against it. You literally just play a Mata in round 3, draw the Albrich, and his Yennefer does no points, and you win the game. So, I don't really love the nerf to it, but I get where it comes from. Master of Puppets. Yeah, this is like intended to be a nerf or a buff. Oh boy. I might have to crack out Master Puppets deck. This is crazy. It makes the swing even bigger. It also puts it into Seize range on Amnesty, on Sweers. So, oh boy, this is gonna get changed. This is gonna be a season of Master of Puppets, Nilfgaard, no GGs, disconnects. This card's gonna be way too good with Petrie's Filter, and it's gonna lead to some problems. So I think this is gonna be one that gets reverted real quick. I guess this must have been like Seagull Coalition or something that did this, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it might be silly to play with, but I think it's gonna feel pretty bad to play against this. I think this is more concerning maybe than we know. I think it's gonna be a problem. Just because of Amnesty and Sweers. You can just play an 11, a guaranteed 11 for 7 that sets you it back up. Think of the value of this card is insane. And it fits in GN. Oof, double GN. Master Puppets is going to be back. Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit excited to play with it. But it is incredibly toxic. So there is that to it. Um, okay, let's see what's next. Messenger of the Sea. Okay. Yeah, I like it. Good buff. Or good nerf. Good nerf. Because this card really isn't 3, you always play it where it gets at least 2 buff on deploy. So it goes to 5 off the bat. Oftentimes it's going to go +4 off the bat and go to 7. And like it's like very difficult to remove. So for a bronze engine that you can replay with Freya's Blessing, you could play it with Fukusia, you can mega scope it. It needs to be a little bit um, like it even gets triggered off Megascope right away. It's just an insane engine, like one of the strongest bronze engines in the game. So I think it's acceptable nerf, especially because it boosts itself out of removal range on deploy. Vendor we already talked about. Okay, so time for the buffs. Now, let's start with the less impactful buffs, which is power increase. Let's start with the power increases, and then we will leave the provision decrease for last. Power increases series. Ciri dash and Ciri vanilla. So, first let's look at Ciri dash. This is a card that gives you card advantage. Draw 4 after 4 different turns. So you play it, wait, and then it eventually draws you a card. This used to be like a Keltullus card. Now this card plus Kelly have both been buffed. This by power, Kelly by provision. Maybe you'll see Kelly get play. I could also see this in like NR. Like Shield Wall deck. Just play this, Shield Wall it. It becomes incredibly difficult to remove at 8 with the shield. And then you can have RSSs too to potentially purify it. Put in some other things that for them to answer, like Dandelion. Well, I mean, I'd be interested to see it. I do kind of think it's okay, though. You have a long time to deal with this, so. And it's a 6 for 10. It's incredibly low tempo. You need a drawn out round, usually with where you control the length of the round. Like, if you're playing this card and you don't have round control and you try to play it into that round, your opponent can just pass before the timer goes off. There's a lot to do, so I don't think this is going to be so bad. I mean, it hasn't been played in forever, and I don't think the power changes that so much. So I think it's actually an overall decent nerf. It might encourage some more experimentation with it, so that's kind of a positive. Also, Theory up to 6. Yeah, this card is it's probably better because it can fit in GN. It now plays 9 for 9, as opposed to Dash, which is 6 for 10. This is 9 for 9 tempo, and then it goes back to your hand the next round, and you can play it in a round 2 situation to retain a card. I think this is going to be much better than Dash, but we'll see. I don't know if I like this one as much as the Dash buff. Kind of think the Dash buff is better because I think this is overall weaker. And I think this card is actually going to be quite playable. Especially cards that... There's certain decks that like to bleed, but want to bleed and retain last say. And maybe you can put this in that type of a deck. So, this is an okay one. I think it'll be fine. So, I think it's alright. Afon. Afon gets power buffed. I don't know. It's starting to get mid-rangey. The problem with this card is that it's so awkward, and it doesn't make any sense to play with the other cards that make sense to play. Like, this is just a card that doesn't work well with battle stations. which is like the main card you want to play with flanking engines. I mean, the card design of this is just poor, and now we're just sort of power buffing it, forcing it into being played just by its raw value, and then you're still gonna lose by bricking it in your hand. So it's not something that would be a high priority to buff for me, this card. But sure, you know, buffs are buffs. It's sort of fine. I wish it would have been used on something else, but it's okay. Madman Lugos. Now this one I actually voted for, so I do like it. Damage, you know, it's a setup card. It's 8 provisions. It's 5 body warrior, and you can get a big damage out of this with Patricidal Fury alone. Putting 4 damage units on the board, say you use full leader, then you can maybe set some more up. You're looking at 5 deal 8, 5 deal 10 maybe. Could be a pretty effective, cheaper removal tool. I don't think it ever gets played in like a devotion list over something like Squirtle. Squirtle's at 9 provisions, and he has bigger base power and is just always unconditionally deals like 7 damage in round 3, so I still don't think it would get play over that, but maybe it gets played in like non-devotion decks or something else. Maybe like Witcher Mentor decks. So a lot of those decks play Serquon. Maybe just play this instead. Bigger base power, big base strength. I like it. I hope it sees it gets slotted in somewhere. Vess. Another one I chose, right? And I'm not even sure how much I mean, it's good. It's a good buff. 7 for 7 base power. It's very hard to remove her. She gives units zeal and has a cooldown on it, so I'm definitely gonna play her in a stockpile deck with the Demavend. Try and set up Demavend off of Vess. Try and set up Revenants off of her. A stockpile deck with Revenants and Demavend that she gives zeal to. That should be really good. So she's really hard to remove at 7. She can still get locked and things, but she has more tempo. Helps with soldier pockets, like creating crew. I mean, and I think those types of decks will probably get nerfed in the future. I could see nerfs come into things like Siege Master. Siege also just got nerfed, so I could see AA getting nerfed in the future, so I think it's fine. I liked it. I think it's cool to have NR move away from Inspired Zeal constantly. It's shield wall, and I think she encourages a couple other types of decks, so that's good. Roderick. Now this is another one I voted for. Let me see. Roderick. And now I was already playing this card last season. I was playing him in Yaga as the Firesworn tag, and now I think he's really considerable there in that slot at 6p. So I like it. I love it. I think it's good. I'm going to play him in Yaga, and I think you should too. So he's 6. He's pretty hardy to remove. He's got Veil. It doesn't get locked. It doesn't get poisoned. And once you're done with the round, you can click him for an extra 3. Coins are valuable. They're worth more than 1 a point, one a turn usually, and he'll boost himself in on a jackpot list too. So I think it's good. I like it a lot. He will see play now, so that's a very relevant buff. Nauzicaa Sergeant. Yes. The world can be at peace. Everything is stable. Nothing has. the world has not gone crazy, it's still ping-ponging Nauzicaa. It's inevitable. So, yeah. Good. I think Nauzicaa should stay at 4. I wish it wouldn't get nerfed again. I'd like it to just stay there now. I think 4 for 6 is perfectly good for it. It's strong. It's encouraged to be played, but it's also not, like, insane. Corsair. Deranged Corsair. Nice. Good buff. Pirates has sucked. This card caught random nerf to 2 power for... I have no idea what reason. People are calling it a 12 for 5. It's not a 12 for 5. It's a 6 tempo card. If that it hits into you know, shields and armor, gets completely negated by those things. Also, maybe there isn't that many points on the row to even remove, so I think at 3 base power it's pretty solid. It's a solid card because it's playing for a floor of around 6 points, and it does have a higher ceiling. So it does have that 12-point ceiling, but it's by no means just a 12 for 5. So I think this is a good change. It's really a revert, but it's a good read from the past. Firesworn Scribe. Yeah, I don't like this. This is just like getting into the area, and this is sort of what I imagine was going to happen to Firesworn is, you know, you just have to force it into relevance. And it's an archetype that has no control. Inherently, it has no control, and it's a combo archetype. So you're looking at an archetype that requires multiple cards to synergize with each other that stick to the board, and it doesn't have any ability to interact with your opponent. So it's just a binary archetype by nature. It has an incredibly high point ceiling if it can stick multiple things together. Already has that. And it can be hard to answer all of its threats. It has things like Hemmelfart that it can play through Damnation a second time that creates multiple strong threats at the same time. And trades super well with whatever you can remove it with. It just trades well to it, other than pretty much anything other than Junior. So yeah, I mean, it's an over buff to a card that I think was already pretty decent. It has a really high ceiling card. You know that Infinite Firesworn obviously is enabled by this card, and now it's incredibly difficult to remove those. And I don't really like that at all. I don't think Infinite Firesworn is that healthy. I don't think it should be a top tier deck. And I think now, now that 4, it's just an overall nerf again to 4 damage removal. All the 4 damage removal cards, which have been just gradually getting worse and worse as we keep buffing things out of their removal range. And this contributes to that as well. So I would give that a major thumbs down. But we're still doing well overall, I would say, for this so far we're still doing really well, I would say. And this will be the final power increase, and I will give it a thumbs up. Terror Crew Axe Wielder. It's a pirate. It's got armor, this armor archetype. I think we should buff more stuff around it and see what happens. Seems good. I don't know if you play this in an armor deck or an Ursine Ritual deck. Do you play it with Onslaught? Because you don't really want it to have too much armor, right? Unless, like, I don't know. Play it with, like, Iris Shade. Maybe. Maybe play Onslaught, keep one in your hand, play with Iris Shade. I don't know. But I like it. I think it's good. People will cook with this, and maybe it gets solid value somehow. I think you probably just play an Ursine Ritual and just hit it with a Raging Bear or something, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Overall, I still like it. It's an irrelevant card, and it's going to encourage experimentation. It has a unique ability. Like, this is good. These are cards that are not played that have an interesting ability because it can be re-armored, re-exposed, can do different things to generate more points than just one go on its deploy, or whatever that may be. It can tank armor, turn that back into offense. So I think it's a really good buff. We'll see what it does though. That remains to be seen. All right, now we move on to the big impact buffs. First of all, we have Temple of Melitele, ping ponging now. 17 to 16 to 17, 16. This card is obviously the strongest card in the entire game. It buffs a dueler by 10 points and or 9 points, and creates 3 legendary cards into your deck. And it has immunity on it. So it's the strongest card in the game. I think by far, honestly, just in the fact that it can just automatically win the game on round 1 if you get top choices. Like, say you get Revenin. You just get Revenin. You already have Demavend. You already have you already are playing Demavend and AA, and you're playing Siege, so that you can have access to all the other legendary units. So thankfully Siege got nerfed, and Temple overall will be the same. But you know, you just spawn a Revenin, you spawn a Gerhardt, and then you spawn a Shawnee, and you just win the game immediately, because it's completely impossible to beat a deck with that many top end legendaries that are super strong. So yeah, I mean, I've played a lot of Temple. It's a fun deck to play because it's fun to like high roll some of those cards, and then the deck is strong, so that makes it fun to play. But I don't mind nerfing this at 17. I think it's honestly fine at 17. I think it's very playable at 17 provisions. So it's kind of whatever. It's not what I would have liked to see, but it is what it is. Golden Necker is back to 13. I'm gonna say I really like this revert. I really hope that it doesn't get nerfed again. It caught a stray in it from Self Eater being at 6 base power, and I think naturally Golden Necker is a 15 provision card. Say it could only play a 9 provision unit, random unit special and artifact, but you could put it in any deck, then it would be like 15. But I mean, it has a major deck restriction. You cannot play Heat Wave. You cannot play all of these powerful 10 provision cards. You cannot play Muzzles. You can't play anything like Defender. You can't play Defenders. There's a lot of strong cards that it blocks you from. All God, you can't play. You can't play Ale or Truffle with it. So you can't play Scenarios with it. So I think, like, with that in mind, yes, GN's very strong on its own, but not having 10 plus provision cards is a major downside. And I think 13 is probably a good spot for GN. I could even see it at 12, but for me personally, I think it would be better for it to be 12 even. I think it's kind of gotten too far away, because different archetypes have stronger, or different factions have stronger GN builds, and the problem with nerfing GN itself and not those archetypes specifically is it pulls all those other decks from the other archetypes out of playability. Things like movement GN in ST, with GT, like with Gaten GN, it pulls that out of playability. It pulls relic monsters out of playability. It pulls relic vampires or Vampire Tome out of playability. But just a lot of those GN decks, they end up suffering for whatever the top GN deck is that season. So I think it's good to buff this back. I like that a lot. Masquerade Ball, 13. Oh boy, man. I don't know about this one. I don't know about this one. You're gonna say that balls, like there's ball and there's ball is the same as Beauclair. I think ball is the same as Beauclair. No. Ball is the same as one Admiral Rompley. No, definitely not. Yeah, I think you play ball now. I mean, I would probably play ball even over Amir. It's gonna be strong. I think it absolutely is included in any Aristocrats deck, and I don't think you actually cut what people are gonna intend it to cut. I don't actually think you cut the Joachim for it. I think you try and slam the provisions in there some other way, but we'll see. I think I'll probably build it without Joachim spam, but it kind of remains to be seen. We'll see what happens. I'm 50-50 on this. I'm a little bit nervous. It's gonna be too good, but ball is bleedable. It's low tempo, so I don't really mind the buff. Blood Eagle. I like this a lot. I voted for it. Mainly because I would love Blood Eagle to be in a place of playability where you could just use it for damage by 2, and you could play it in a deck like Pirates. Because even the top Pirates are warriors too. So if we look at Skellige and we look at warriors, like you have your Seawolf is a warrior, Croc is a warrior. You could play King Bran with Pirates in a veteran build. It's a warrior. Turvey's warrior. So, yeah, I really like Blood Eagle. I'd like to see it outside of just raid warriors. So I like buffing it at the same, especially at the same time that we nerf Warlord. I think that was a really good plan for this council. Unseen Elder. Yeah, 11. Man, this is a high ceiling card. I think you can play this outside of Devotion. That's what I'll say. I think you can just jam it into Renfrey Vampires outside of Devotion. You can it's almost just a mid-range card. It's so good, I think. He drops at 13 for 11, threatening 2 a turn. Because, right, it gives 4 and 2. It's not a full 13 tempo, but then it requires premium removal. It requires either lock or like a large amount of damage or heat wave. Some combo damage, like you need engine plus bronze removal. Yeah. I think it's a good buff though, because Vampires is really weak. It's not really weak, but it's not strong. So I don't mind buffing it. I really don't. I think it's overall it's good. I think this card will see a lot more play now. I think it's in a good state. I don't think it will need any more buffs, and I would hope that it doesn't get buffed again. So I think it's going to be right at the cusp of being too good. Calvite. Yeah. That's fine. Calvite isn't... I mean, I play a lot of Calvite decks too, so I don't really mind. He makes your deck insanely consistent. I get why people don't like playing against him, because you don't miss any of your cards, and you can just jam 4P tactics in there. And yeah, I mean, I like to play Calvite decks whenever I'm not tilting, or like I don't want to tilt, I'll go play Calvite because you know what you're gonna get every single game, and like you just if I'm trying to play a deck that's high RNG or something and just getting frustrated with it, I can go play a Calvite deck, and then I can just know what's gonna happen. So, um, I don't mind it. He's sort of ping ponging here. I think he's playable at both 12 and 11. He used to be 8 for 10 though, so regardless, he's at a much more nerf state than he was when he was released. But I think 11 is strong for him, but 12 is probably overall better for him. Maybe he should be 8 for 12 instead of 7 for 11. But Lilith's Omen. Okay, this is a 10 provision card now. I don't know. I don't find this card interesting. I don't like it. I don't think it's good. Don't like the card. I think it's a poorly designed card. Summoning 2 non-neutral units without Veil from your deck, then give them Doomed and Rupture. I mean, you're either summoning Mamuna plus Bloody Mistress, or you're summoning Kashi plus Kiki Queen, which was an interesting combo, but either of those are like an insane amount of provisions. Like just think about this. You're playing a 10 provision card. You're summoning a 12 and an 11. You're dumping 33 provisions into one play. One play. So your entire and you have to mulligan these cards away, and there's no efficient tutor to getting Lilith's Omen through monsters. I mean, are you gonna go for Naglfar to try and get it? And then you have to mulligan your best cards away. That's also like what I don't like. Like you have to split up Mamuna and the other thing. They're both power plays on their own. So you have to mulligan them away, and you have to commit them to one play. So if you don't dictate the round length, if you don't dictate the round length, if you can get bled out of Lilith's Omen, you just lose the game immediately. You just lose because you just have nothing left to even if you get card advantage, you just have nothing left. So I don't like Lilith's Omen as a card in general. I think it's okay that people buffed it and want to play with it, but it's never going to be like, unless you over buff it, it's not going to be a good card. It's not going to be a consistent card, and I don't think it would make decks that are fun to play. So that's the reason I really don't like it. Gezris. This is one I did not expect to see here, and we're whittling down to the very final ones now. So Gezris is a 6 for 10 now, and I like it. I mean, this card's a very high ceiling threat. I don't want to see it go to 9. I think 10 is too strong too, but this card has never seen play at 11 for some reason. I think did it come out at 13 or 12? Maybe it was 12 and like 5. I wonder what this was released at. And I remember people were like, "Wow, it's really strong." When it was released, people were thinking it was really strong. I mean, yeah, it has a very high ceiling to it. It's the absolute maximum it could do. It could go to the ranged row 4 different times. 36. Yeah, so it has a 42 point maximum value plus whatever movement synergies. But obviously you're not going to actually attain that. It usually gets killed. Still though, interesting buff for like big movement, like Saskia movement decks that aren't GN. think it's another one. It's okay. It's good. I would put this in the same group with like um Unseen Elder, where these cards that they're kind of on the cusp of being good or not, but now it's like, wow, maybe they're really good. So I think these could break through into the meta. Both of those changes could really break through into the meta. We got Varaxis too, another one, another like top gold, like archetype top gold. Now 11, so he can reset all sorts of stuff. Very interesting order ability off of Varaxis. I really think he was a card that people thought was going to suck when he came on launch. People were like, "Oh, this is going to be good," and then he started resetting on Sace and like War Elephant when that was getting played. Also, War Elephant's interesting. We have Varaxis plus Vess. You got Varaxis, you got Vess. Like Vess, you know, you could put some cards like this that don't have Zeal, that are hard to remove. Like this is a card that can be played without Zeal potentially. You have to kill it. It's an 8. It's hard to do, but it's interesting. It's a siege. It's got cooldown on it. Varaxis can reset that. Varaxis can reset Shawnee for a lot of points. He can do Demavend, War Elephant. He can do Siggy. He can do that. Gerhardt. He's got a lot of interesting targets. So a very interesting card for Axis, and he's never really seen because of Temple. So I like it a lot. Like it a lot. Bring him into the meta. And the last but not least is Morkvarg. Morkvarg, Heart of Terror. It's now 9 provisions. I like this change a lot. I think this puts it onto par with the Bloody Baron, which is sort of like its counterpart card in NR. And I think it's really good. This is interesting too. It's in GN range. Now I'm gonna be cooking a GN deck with Morkvarg and Dagger. Could potentially bring the Dagger back if you need to. You could have like Hemdall in it now. It's also just a better for pirates too. It's just a better option for pirates to have Tall Punish. I really like this change. I don't think it's going to be overtuned, but I think it makes a card that's not playable. So yeah, I mean, overall, I think this this balance council, I think it was really good. I think maybe one of the better ones that we've had in quite a long time. There's only a few things that I'm really even concerned with. It's say like this one in this category. Like this one is bad. This one is like very you know? It's this one. I like all the other ones. In the nerfs of power, I don't love Albrich, but I get it. I don't like Sandor, but I get it at the same time. And Master of Puppets is very concerning to me, but also is going to make for a silly deck. But the rest of them I like. In this category, I like all of them. I like all of them, really. I mean, I talked about my concerns about a couple, like Sesame and Seagull, but I like them all. I'll give them all thumbs up. Provisions, I'm a little concerned about Ball being too good. And Lilith's Omen is a card that I don't really like. But I get trying it out and trying to make it a little bit better. It's a deck it's a type of card you can cook with. So I'm still going to give this a sideways thumb. I'm not going to give it a thumbs down. because it's just my personal bias against it. And everything else other than Ball and Temple, I'm going to give a thumbs up. So I think it's a good balance council. There's only like six or seven different options that I was like either thumbs down on or like not really thrilled at all about. So, and other than that, pretty good. There's a lot of stuff that we can play with. I mean, stuff that's gonna add to the meta. Really, like Vest is gonna add to like legit decks. Roderick is gonna add to Yago for sure. Maybe other Firesworn stuff. These series are gonna be interesting to play with. Card advantage decks. That's great. Master Puppets is going to be crazy to play with. It's going to be dangerous. It's going to add a lot of disconnects. And then Unseen Elder, Gezras, and Morgvarg, I think, all get injected into legit playable decks, and Vraxis Prince, and Ball too. I mean, all those cards are competitively playable. I think we're going to see that they're going to find a niche in that. So overall, really good. Thanks for watching.